Hello, America, and everywhere else in the world. Welcome back to a brand new episode of Corey Has a Podcast. I'm your host, Corey Easley. And in the last couple of days, someone popped into my head who I was a fan of for most of my life until they passed. Joan Rivers, the legendary Joan Rivers. And then I just went on YouTube and watched a compilation of Joan Rivers being fucking amazing. There was nobody like her. She just said whatever she wanted, and nobody fucked with her. She was just dope, and she was unapologetically herself. But the funny thing about it is, I met Joan Rivers like shortly before she passed, and when I was working at a clothing store in the Upper East Side. Well, it was up on Madison Avenue. The neighborhoods in Manhattan it's really fucking funny to me, like where one begins and one ends. But anyway, I guess this is the Upper East Side where I was. And Joan Rivers stopped by briefly. She didn't like come in and shop, but I was like by the front and she came up to the door. And I said hello, and she was just super nice and super smiley. And so I'd like to begin this podcast by talking about, or giving a big shout out, to Joan Rivers. Rest in peace. Rest in power, right? I don't know what they did with her after she died. I know when I die, there's a multiple options that I'm considering at this point. Right now, I'm 32, so which doesn't mean I can't just drop dead tomorrow. But I'm really entertaining the idea of getting cremated, just because I think fucking graveyards are kind of just like, I can't believe we're still doing that. I can't believe we're taking up so much space with burying a bunch of motherfuckers, right? It's just weird. Like, somebody could live there, there could be stores, or there could just be parks and trees and shit like that, right? We gotta just put all these bodies. What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do when we run out of space? You know, back in the day, when you died, they would just put you in a wheelbarrow and roll you down the street and drop you into a ditch. That's what they did, and I have 100% proof that that's accurate. That is true, because I give you the facts, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Happy Pride Month, by the way, to the proud people of New York City. That's where the Pride Parade is. This is my world I live in. It is a tiny little bubble, and there's nothing else outside of it unless I go to it, in which case I could potentially be having a dream, or I may actually, it's all just a simulation. I'm really working on losing my mind. So, yesterday, I got out of work a little earlier than I normally do, and I walked over to a nail salon and got a fucking pedicure. I'm like, you know what? I work hard. These feet, I stand on them all day. They get calloused. You know, I specifically have not clipped my toenail. I clipped my fingernails on the reg. I don't need people looking at my hands. Like, I remember one time when I was in 5th grade, I was embarrassed. I was mad at my mom for this, right? Because I feel like this is her fault. My nails were long and fucking dirty, and these two girls double teamed the shit out of me in 5th grade. One of them said, "Ew, Corey, your nails are long." And then the other one looked down at him and said, "And dirty." And ever since then, I am very self-conscious about the length and cleanliness, the appearance of my nails, because that day they looked like dirty pieces of candy corn attached to the tips of my fingers. It was really bad. So I said, never again. I'm not gonna fucking walk around looking like Beetlejuice. And because now there's no one to blame, right? I'm an adult. I never hear anybody say that, by the way. Adult, not on purpose anyway. And whenever someone does say it, I feel like they're faking it. I feel like it's bullshit. Like they're trying to sound like they're a certain kind of way. Like they're trying to sound like they wear a fucking black turtleneck with a beret and sunglasses in the fucking nighttime indoors. piece of shit. So anyway, yeah, so I got a pedicure. And I'll go in, and there's a dude at the front. And he's like, hey, sir, what do you want? He was a small Asian man. And he goes, what do you want? And I said, I want a pedicure. So he goes, all right. And he leads me to the seat. He was excellent. He was really cool. He was the best part of my whole experience, this dude. And then he goes, all right, just about 5 minutes. I sit there for like 20 in this fucking chair, potentially dozing off. Then, this is shame on me. The lady finally shows up, asks me what I want. Clearly, English was not her first language, so she starts pointing to my options on this laminated piece of paper. And I said, I just want a pedicure, right? I don't need you to paint my fucking nails or any of that shit. Just take the goddamn dead skin off my foot so it feels nice and soft, so I don't feel like I'm fucking rubbing sandpaper on my other leg when my feet, when I'm under the covers at night. So I picked the option. She starts working. She turns on this massage chair. The massage chair was digging into parts of my back in a way where it just felt like the chair wasn't made for someone my height. Now, I have an extremely short torso, okay? I'm all legs. Like, my torso is the length of somebody who should be 5'4", okay? But my legs are the length of somebody who should be 6'2". So figure that out. It's not good. It's not a good look. So I'm sitting there with my short torso. This thing's digging into my fucking back. It's digging into my lower back. It's fucking with my spine. And I sat there like a little bitch and did not open my fucking mouth and say, hey, can you turn this goddamn thing off? Because it's not working. It's not helping. It's not doing me any favors. I just sat there and dealt with it. Just sat there and took the abuse. As I was conditioned to do. So that was it. And then at the end of this, they have the audacity to charge you $70, which is fucking, that's almost $100 for a complete waste of time. I told the lady, I said, listen, I got a fucking callus on this pinky toe. Can you do something about that? She barely did anything about it. Then she gives me the worst massage I've ever got. This massage was so fucking weak. She finishes the pedicure part and then has the audacity to give me a fucking massage with her weak fucking hands. Okay? I wanted the front desk dude to come in and start fucking doing something, or someone else. She's got long fingernails. I could feel them through her fucking latex gloves, and she's digging into my skin. And I'm like, after a while, I started getting reactive. So she realized she was hurting me. I was like, I was like making noises like that, so she could fucking go, and kind of cut that short because I just needed to get the hell out of there so I can give this woman $70 and whatever cash I had on me as a tip, which I actually gave her a pretty nice tip because I'm not an asshole and I believe tipping is important. I grew up around people that would not tip you. I grew up around people that would have the experience I had and try to walk out of that fucking place without paying and cause a scene. To the point where the people just don't even want the money anymore. They just want you to get the fuck out. So I wasn't about to do that. I don't have that in me, But yeah, it was not a good experience. I would not go back. This place is on 21st Street. I do not know the name of it, but I will tell you this. If I ever go back there again, it would be just so I can get another story, not because I'm an idiot. Just want to clarify that. Okay? Okay. Now, remember last week when I said I've been Googling women getting into really violent fights? This week, I've been Googling people being trampled. To the point where now I'm just thinking, you know what? Maybe, just maybe, there is some government watch list that's watching me. But it's just so, what is, like, do we have any privacy? You know what I mean? What if, like, I got off to these things? I guess maybe someone who gets off to those things would probably be a danger to themselves and others. So I guess you would pay attention to that person. Scratch that. You know what? They're right. They should be watching me. Yeah, Yeah, people being trampled, though, that's my thing. And I also was looking at people being attacked by goats. Goats attack people, unprovoked sometimes, too. There's a woman, she's walking, carrying grocery bags. She's trying to make it home. And it's one of those countries where the goats just walk around in the street. And this goat sees her, maybe doesn't like her skirt. Maybe wants to know what's in the bag, lady. And he does the little stomp thing with the 1 foot. And then it was pretty much on sight for this woman. You know, he ran up, rammed into her fucking... I think his head was like crotch level. So he basically, pow, right in the pussy, you know? And she dropped to the floor, which is probably the most action she's gotten in a while. And based on looking at it, right? Yeah, but it was hilarious because she kind of fell in slow motion, which people do. People can do. Honestly, if you're going to fall, you probably want to fall in slow motion. You know, if you fall fast, forget about it. Snap your fucking ankles. It's the worst. Remember that show Scarred on MTV? Where people would talk about taking a nasty fall and their whole fucking arm getting ripped out of their socket, or having to get like 20 stitches across their torso because of some freak accident, which I think about every time I get on a roller coaster. It's just something horrible happening, like me flying out of the roller coaster. How many times has this happened? How many roller coaster accidents happen a year is what I want to know. How many roller coaster... wow. I don't want to know how many there are in the world. How many roller coaster accidents happen a year? Approximately 4 deaths annually in the United States are associated with roller coasters. Now, how? How common? Okay, likely blah, blah, blah. The likelihood is low. The odds are roughly 1 in 750 million. Wow. I don't know, man. We just have really active imaginations, right? I just think of the worst. Roller coaster related deaths. What's happening to these people, though? Are they flying off the fucking thing? Are they getting decapitated? Like, what's worse? It happening to you, or you sitting next to the person that it happened to, right? Do you feel like you're next? Do you feel like you can't? There's a dog barking. You guys, I don't know if you guys can hear that. Like the dog ran into another dog or something. I don't know. I could see from the window, but the trees have grown in so nicely that I'm kind of hidden in the behind the trees. I could spy on people, but they can't spy on me. But actually, the trees have gotten so thick and full that I can't really see anything through them. Anyway, yeah, what's worse? You're carrying that imagery around of the guy that sat next to you fucking getting completely decapitated by some low-hanging thing that you pass by on the roller coaster. That's horrible. And potentially you'd be scarred for life, I would imagine, right? I was talking to my boy the other day about some rappers like Dipset, and I remember this video came out where Jim Jones, the rapper Jim Jones, said, my mother taught me how to tongue kiss. And everybody was like, yo, what the fuck are you talking about? And nobody let him live this down to the point where he had to go back and explain what he meant when he said that. But once you say my mother taught me how to tongue kiss, it just sounds to me like your mom came in your room when you were a teenager and had a couple of makeout sessions with you. Which also made me think tongue kiss sounds worse than make out. You ever see two people displaying some PDA and they're just straight up tongue kissing to the point where it's gross, no matter how attractive they both are? And let's be honest, it's fucking worse when the two people are unattractive, right? And I always think, what? Good for them. They found each other. But also, why are they making us watch them do this? Why? Yeah. Keep your tongue kissing in the house, or tastefully make out in the corner. If you're going to make out with somebody outside, don't stand in the middle of the fucking, like, where everyone can see you. Hide in the corner a little bit. So if someone wants to look, they can, but they don't have to, right? They can avoid you, right? You know, it's like peeing publicly, but you're not facing a wall. You're just like showing everybody what's going on. Yeah, I'm not a huge PDA fan, especially when I'm watching it happen. And I'll watch the whole time. Sometimes I always try to think of like, sometimes I always, did you hear me just say that dumb shit? Sometimes I try to think about when someone makes me uncomfortable, when I'm like really in my right mind, I'm like, how can I top them and make them more uncomfortable than they just made me? And it's usually like retroactively that I'll come up with really good ideas. But, you know, if someone just starts making out in front of you, what do? Stare directly at them, get real close enough, but you're not touching them, so they can't like, you know, it's not like you assaulted them or anything like that, but you definitely invade their personal space. Don't break eye contact. If you know the people, maybe grab one of their hands while they're doing it. Maybe help them, start spotting them. Like if his hands are on her back, start helping him move his hand around. You know what I mean? Give him the assist. I don't know. These are just some ideas. You don't have to use this. That's how it worked when I did it. So, you know, that's up to you, right? But tongue kissing just sounds gross. In other news, I never told you all about my powerlifting meet. So I went to this powerlifting meet. Now, what a powerlifting meet is, it's a bunch of really strong people, men and women, and there's different weight divisions, and you go and you stand on a platform, which essentially is a stage where there is a weight loaded on it, whether it's a squat rack, a barbell sitting on a squat rack waiting for you to squat it, a barbell on the floor waiting for you to deadlift it off the floor and stand tall and proud with it, or a bench press. You lay on a bench and you press it up in front of you, right? Basically just demonstrating these really impressive feats of strength in front of an audience to celebrate your strength and all the training that you did that led you to this place that you went, right? Leading up to that, I spent a lot of time making sure I didn't miss a meal, trying to keep my weight up. It's hard sometimes with what I do for a living to, you know, gain. Like you can't really, it's hard to put on. And also you don't want to put on too much weight, right? Because you're in a weight division. But you want to make sure that you're just staying where you are, training hard, not missing a meal, getting sleep, getting good nutrition. All the shit that people say, it's true. The shit that people say you got to do, you got to fucking do it. So, doing all that, maxing out. It was a lot of fun. It was a cool experience. Powerlifters are a different type of animal. You got some gigantic motherfuckers in there. You know, you see like a 19-year-old kid who, you know, weighs like 230 pounds. And he's lifting 700 plus pounds off the floor. And this is what they do. I thought it was really cool that I got to just come in there and do what I could. And I hit some numbers that I wanted to hit some PRs. And I'm really proud of myself for jumping into that. That's something I could say I'm proud of. I deadlifted over 500 pounds, which is a goal of mine that I actually set last year. I said, I want to deadlift 500 pounds. And I finally was able to do that. So there you go. That's it. I've won. I have won. You do something for yourself. I woke up early this morning and I thought, sometimes you got to give yourself permission to feel good. Sometimes you just have to do it, right? People are not always going to like what you do. People are not always going to understand what you do, especially when you make a decision or multiple decisions that are strictly for your best interest. Some people don't like that. So, you know, people are going to say things, they're going to do things. We have so much access to each other all the time and know each other's opinion, whether it's aggressive or passive aggressive. with social media and stuff. And, nothing you can really do about that. But what you can do, stay focused on what you're doing, stay the course, keep moving forward, and not let people get in your fucking head, because fuck those people, right? At the end of the day, you can either get cremated or you can get put in a fucking box. But regardless of what happens, you're going to probably most likely be by yourself when it happens. So treat the people good who are around you that are treating you good, and try your best to fucking live a good life, right? If you walk around worrying about upsetting people all the time at the expense of your own happiness, then, you're never going to truly be happy. So that's it. That's the fucking facts right there. Okay? Because at the end of the day, things are so much different now. You spend enough time being alive that you watch the world change, and you honestly kind of eventually see yourself change. You don't see it right away, but you look at things you did, and jobs you've had, and clothes you used to wear 5, 8, 12 years ago, and you look at yourself today, and you're like, wow, I've really kind of, you keep walking forward. Sometimes you turn around and look, and you're like, Jesus Christ, I can't even see this thing anymore because it's so fucking far behind me. And that's just going to continue to happen, right? Dwelling kind of just slows you down. It's like quicksand, Why the fuck would I hang around and just be sinking in quicksand? Quicksand's weird, right? Some weird shit in the world. Quicksand, platypuses. It's a weird animal. That's all I got right now. There's a lot of other weird shit, but those two immediately top of mind. I've been thinking about platypuses a lot. Like, they can swim. They got like otter bodies. I had an otter body experience. It's crazy. That's why the ocean to me is so fucking terrifying. It's like, we don't know what's down there, but I'm sure that there are gigantic monsters that live so deep in the ocean that they don't come up to a certain level and we can't go down. I wouldn't be surprised if there was a fucking giant kraken down there, or something worse, something we've never seen. The thing about us is, I guess eventually we'll create the technology to go so deep under the fucking ocean that we'll start seeing some shit that's like straight out of people's nightmares. Or we'll find the lost city of Atlantis. Speaking of the lost city of Atlantis, I just heard a report that the fucking sea level is rising. This is a bummer. The sea level is rising so much that there are now parts of the Underground Railroad that will soon be fully submerged underwater, which is fucked up on multiple levels. A piece of history, and also major piece of history of this country. And also just like, it's just so goddamn hot that the water is getting full. We're just like in this giant glass where the ice is melting, and we're about to just start spilling over the sides. Spilling over the fucking sides. You're going to see a lot of spilling over the sides this summer because nobody gives a shit anymore, and everybody's wearing crop tops, whether they fucking are fit or not. So spilling over the sides is going to be a major theme over the next fucking, I don't know how long summertime's going to be. Could be for the rest of our lives, the way the sea levels are rising. Am I right? Who knows? I don't know. I'm just a fucking dude. Top Gun came out. People like it. Like my show, share it, and subscribe it so more people could like that, right? I'm down to about 3 listeners a week. So anybody who's still listening, thank you. Anybody who's got a bone to pick with somebody, anybody who's having a problem, it'd be really cool if I got a fucking letter from someone who listens to this show about a problem that they're having in their lives. Oh, you mean you want to give someone advice? Yeah, I guess you can shoot me an email at CoreyHasAPodcast@gmail.com. That's the name. That's the email for the podcast, starring me, Corey Easley. Lastly, I encourage every one of you to find something to get interested in that's a little bit out of the norm for you. Educate yourself on something different. I just watched half a documentary about a guy who creates rods that are used for fly fishing. And fly fishing dates all the way back to fucking Cleopatra times. You can look up the dates on that, but date all the way back to those ancient times. And people still do it now. People have thriving businesses based around it. So that's pretty cool. It's nice to just learn random facts. I'm not that smart. That's why I'm trying to figure all this shit out. Because knowing a bunch of random shit just makes you good at trivia. But you can't figure out real life stuff sometimes. Just like everybody else. Okay? I'm not special. And neither are you. Thank you guys. Have a great day. Have a great night. Have a great fucking something. Take care of yourself and the people you love. Brush your teeth. Wash your ass. And I'll see you next week. Later.